Aquarius, this is Leah with Half Moon Tarot. I will be doing your December 2022 reading. I've already meditated over the cards and asked that Spirit bring whatever is necessary for you to hear, for you to know, expect, and be prepared for, okay? So in the meditation, the Emperor comes out. Ooh, I'm like really excited to tell you this. The Emperor comes out, followed by the Seven of Cups, followed by the Two of Swords, okay? And some of my Aquariuses, and I really want to say more towards my January Aquariuses and early February Aquariuses. Like, I want to say the first week of February, okay? You all are, mainly my January Aquariuses, but you all are, like, you really got your shit together, okay? And it's like, when we are at a place of peace, sometimes we don't take advantage of that space of peace. So we sometimes, with the way that we've grown up, the way that we learn is through having to solve problems, right? So for some of my Aquariuses, don't make something out of nothing, okay? Just so you can have a problem to solve. Bask in the space of like peace and knowing that there is no drama, like no more drama keeps coming up. You know what I mean? And it's like, don't make something out of nothing, because that is what you are used to doing. Maybe, and just maybe, your style of learning has shifted, right? So maybe we no longer have to learn through problem solving and drama. Maybe we can just learn through peace now. What happens when I don't involve myself? What happens when I don't try to control a situation that I can't? What happens if I'm just the observer? Okay? And really start to learn from that perspective. All right, Aquarius, let's see what you got for December 2022. Okay. All right, so that Two of Swords comes back out, followed by the High Priest, followed by the Page of Page of Swords. Let me wrap my mind around this, because I feel like it can be a continuation, but I also feel like we could be diving deeper into something that doesn't have to be anything. Or we could be diving into a situation where it's the last time you're involving yourself in something, okay? You know, when we are in a pattern behavior, right? A pattern way that we solve problems, a pattern way in which we speak to people, a pattern way in which we live our lives, right? There is a pattern there. And once we realize that we have a certain way of doing things, we realize that we have a different perspective of it, and we realize that it may not be the completely right thing, right? Or the completely right way of going about a certain situation, right? So what I mean by that, for example, is being in an on again, off again relationship or friendship, right? That's a pattern behavior. And once we realize that there is a pattern, it's like it gets old and grimy, and the communication in the Two of Swords starts to fall off, right? So Two of Swords not only talks about making a decision that could be hard for you at this time, it also is like this giving up of communication. Okay, because it's like you have to cut something off in order for you to step into this high priestess space of, and when I look up the high priestess, I just look at her as like this divine observer. Like she can see over everything, and she partakes in the situations that she sees in a way from the outside looking in. She doesn't feel like she needs to fix or control or try to place different situations in different places in order for her to feel comfortable. She feels comfortable on the outside being the observer. And when we're in pattern behaviors, we're not the observer, we're the participant. Okay, so once we get to a space of being sick and tired of being sick and tired of different situations that have brought us to this, and it's like, are we fighting again? You know, am I giving this person the silent treatment again? Like, or is this conversation coming up again? Like, why do we continuously have these conversations? Why do we continuously have these emotions or behaviors towards each other? Like, is this really healthy? You know, is this a toxic situation? Because once we start to become the observer in the most minute of ways, that starts to change our perspective in the biggest way, right? We just get sick and tired of being sick and tired, and that's that Two of Swords. And in the High Priestess, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna sit this one out. Yeah, I'm gonna sit this one out. I don't even have any anger or any passion or any sadness or any happiness towards this. I'm just really numb to it, right? So a lot of my Aquarius keep saying, you know, this just makes me feel numb. Like I don't even know how I feel about the situation. It's like an indifferent feeling. You don't even think about it. It's nothing that is important to you. And yet we are still caught in these behavioral patterns because at some point in some way we're still emotionally connected to this thing because of quantity and not because of quality. Okay, we're still connected to that group of friends because it's a lot of them there, and if I cut this person off, I gotta cut them all off. But really, they're not of quality personality, they're not of quality characteristics, they're not of moral or standards that are up to par, right? So why are we holding on to this? Because of the quantity and not the quality. Why am I in this relationship with this person? Because I've been with them for 12 years, because I've been with them for 25 years. Shit, some people may even think like, you know, I've been with you for 2 years and I don't want that to go to waste. It's because of the quality we are still attached to and not the quality. Okay. So the Page of Swords comes up and it talks like this, because we go from the Two of Swords to the Page of Swords, and the Page of Swords is direct communication, DMs, text messages, phone calls, emails is direct communication. So we go from being in a space of like, I'm really sick and tired of going back and forth, to actually being direct with our communication and in what it is that we expect and what it is that makes us feel nurtured and what it is that makes us feel wanted, or whatever it is, what it is that makes me feel bop, 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 you know. And it's like, if you don't directly communicate, you can't be in this space of observer, right? And moving from being indifferent to the space of the observer, you find out what makes you passionate, what makes you click, what makes you tick, what makes you be in this relationship. When we move from being indifferent to the observer, it is almost like that saying of time makes the heart grow fonder. right? So when we start to observe, we're putting space and time between us and the situation, us and the person, and we start to see it from a different perspective. And if my heart doesn't grow fonder, if I'm not, um, if between that space and time I still feel indifferent, then I know it's time for me to let it go. But I don't ghost. I am a direct port of communication. I communicate that. And I think this is where you are going to learn to not let the little things bother you, Aquarius. Okay? Because it's really nothing. Right now it's something. But once you become in that observer space, you'll find out that it's really nothing. All right, so the next cards that comes out is the Five of Wands, followed by the Ten of Swords. Oh, baby. The Ten of Swords talks about it being quantity over quality, right? I just skipped over the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands just says there needs to be a change in action. If you want to go from being this indifferent in the situation, being a participant, into the observer, there has to be a change of action. Like I said, you are going to start to move differently. Five of Wands says it's time to start moving differently. Don't talk about it, be about it. Okay? Don't let them know what you're gonna do. Like Beyonce said, just show them. Okay? And then the Ten of Swords comes through, and it's like you're gonna have to cut the quantity off, because that quantity doesn't bring you any quality of life. You know, when we talk about quality of life, especially in economic terms, it is like, is the money, the work that you're putting in, is it feeding into the quality of life, right? When we go to work, we get money feeds into our quality of life. When we go to work, we get vacation time, because that feeds into our quality of life. We get sick time, that feeds into our quality of life. If the work does not feed into the quality of life, then it's just quantity, and quantity is empty. Okay, so make sure when you are in a relationship, when you're in a friendship, when you're in a family ship, whatever it is, you're putting the work in. Are you receiving something that is feeding your quality of life? And if not, then we know that we need to be direct in our communication and let that situation know that this isn't feeding into my quality of life. Okay, and you might have to cut off the quantity so that you can get to the quality. Okay? You might have to cut out the stress so you can be blessed. All right? All right, the last card is the Magician. And I always love when the Magician comes out, because it talks about this being something that deals with consistency. Okay, consistency, persistence, submission, all of those things come with the Magician card, right? Because we have to be consistent in the way that we're moving, because we had to switch it up in order for us to get to the space of the observer, in order for us to get to the space of choosing our words in direct communication, right? So that we can cut off the quantity, and get to the quality. And this is something that we have to be consistent in every facet of our life. Does it feed into the quality? If not, this is nothing that I can continue to practice every day. I have to practice feeding into the quality of my life every single day, right? And that, when we are consistent, it brings persistency. So we are going to be persistent in the fact that no, we have the space to say no and not feel bad about it, because it doesn't feed into the quality of our lives. Okay, and then that is going to come in with a space for us to be vulnerable, a space for us to be in submission to our quality of life. I can't stop bringing that in, right? Right now, you're being submissive to the quantity, right? Well, we got so many years in. God, I don't want to give up because we got so many years in. You're being submissive to the quantity, right? If that is the first thing that comes out of your mouth, instead of I don't want to give up because this is a person that makes me feel like no other, or this is a situation that is my safe space, right? I just know that if I communicate directly, it will be able to return back to my safe place. We can get back to the way we were in our relationship, all right, or our friendship, or what have you. But right now, you're being submissive to the quantity. I always want to say quality. You're being submissive to the amount of time, the quantity. And we got to start being submissive to the quality of life, because that is something that is going to build us up and give us a better outlook and perspective on life. Okay? All right, Aquarius, that has been your December 2022 reading. Drop down in the comments. Let's talk about it. And I'll see y'all next month. Bye.